All right, so we're diving into something pretty unique today. The Liat Show, My Journey to Infinity. Even the title has this like mysterious, grand feel to it.
I know, right? It definitely piques your curiosity.
Totally. And, just from glancing through the material you sent over, it seems like we're dealing with a very different kind of creator here.
Yeah, for sure.
Liat Portal, the creator of the show, she describes herself as, well, this is interesting, a narrative architect.
I like that.
Yeah, it's like instead of designing buildings, she's constructing these intricate narratives, weaving together history, music, science.
And personal anecdotes, too. It's really fascinating how she blends those in.
Yeah. It's not just presenting information. It's like she's crafting these multi-dimensional tapestries of knowledge and experience.
Exactly.
Okay, I am officially intrigued. But before we get too deep into the content, can you give us a quick rundown of the format? Where do these stories, these narratives actually live?
So her main platform is Substack. She releases episodes in sets, kind of like chapters in a book. And each set focuses on a particular theme.
Interesting. So it's like a serialized thematic approach.
Yeah, exactly. And get this, she also produces a podcast version of her show.
Oh, wow, podcast too.
Mm-hmm. And she uses AI tools to help with the audio production.
Oh, that's pretty cutting edge. So she's really embracing technology in her creative process.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. Themes, you mentioned themes. What kind of topics does she explore in these sets, in these chapters?
Oh, a huge range. You'll find stuff on Israeli culture, music, food, history.
Oh, okay.
Then she jumps into things like the future of education technology, artificial intelligence.
Wow, that's quite a mix.
It is. But that's what makes it so interesting. She always finds these like unexpected connections between seemingly unrelated topics.
Like, how does Israeli food connect to artificial intelligence? I'm dying to know.
Right. You just have to see how she does it. It's really clever.
So in the materials you sent over, there's this one piece, a joke's worth 1,000 words, that really caught my eye. I mean, I was not expecting Monty Python to pop up in a discussion about history.
I know, it's brilliant.
So she uses this classic scene from Life of Brian, the one where they're listing all the Romans' contributions.
Yeah, the aqueducts, sanitation.
Right, right. And she uses that to set up a comparison with, this is interesting, British and French mandate rule in the Middle East.
It's not a perspective you hear very often.
Definitely not the usual narrative. So is she like arguing that colonial rule was a good thing? I mean, that's a pretty bold statement.
Not exactly. It's more nuanced than that. She acknowledges the negative aspects of colonialism, for sure.
Okay.
But she also highlights these contributions that often get overlooked.
Okay, like what?
Well, for example, investments in infrastructure, education, even things like economic modernization.
So it's like challenging those black and white narratives we often have about history.
Exactly. She wants us to see the complexities, the shades of gray, even when it makes us uncomfortable.
It's like that saying, history is written by the victors, right? But maybe by examining things from multiple perspectives, we can get a more balanced view of the past.
Absolutely. And that's what Liat is pushing us to do.
Okay, so we've got this narrative architect who's challenging us to rethink history, but you also mentioned that she explores the future, right? What does that look like in the Liat Show?
Well, there's this other piece you shared, why every decision matters. This one takes us on a wild ride to a future where knowledge is the ultimate currency.
Knowledge as currency. That's intriguing.
It is. And in this future, traditional education systems, like, they've gone underground.
Underground, like
Yeah.
secret societies of learning. What's going on?
Well, in Liat's vision, software companies, they've become so powerful that they essentially control access to information, to education.
So traditional schools have gone underground to, like, fight back, to preserve independent thought.
Exactly. And it's fascinating how she describes these underground schools.
Like, what are they like?
Imagine teachers using cutting-edge tech to deliver lessons remotely. But there's this constant threat of bot infiltration. Security is paramount.
Wow, that's like a high-tech, clandestine education system. It sounds like something out of a sci-fi thriller.
It does, doesn't it? But it also raises some important questions about the future of learning, about how we access and value knowledge.
Yeah, it's like, in this future, knowledge has become this restricted commodity, right? Only accessible to a select few.
That's one interpretation, yeah. But Liat also explores the potential benefits of this underground system. Like, maybe it fosters a deeper appreciation for knowledge, a more innovative approach to teaching.
Okay, so it's not all doom and gloom. There's a glimmer of hope, a sense that human ingenuity and the pursuit of knowledge can't be totally suppressed.
That's the thing with Liat's work. It's thought-provoking, It challenges you, makes you question your assumptions.
She doesn't give you easy answers, does she?
Nope. And to make things even more interesting, she throws in this dilemma.
Oh,
It's about these board members who reach the golden wisdom age of 120 and have to retire.
120. Wow, that's a long time to be on a board.
Right. And it raises these questions about aging,
Hmm.
about experience, about the value of wisdom in a world that's constantly changing.
That's heavy stuff. It makes you think, right? Like, in a future dominated by technology, by rapid innovation, what will be the role of experience, of wisdom accumulated over a lifetime?
Exactly. And if knowledge truly becomes the most valuable currency, how do we ensure everyone has access to it? How do we balance tradition and innovation?
Wow. We've only just scratched the surface here, and I already feel like my brain is doing backflips.
Just wait. There's so much more to unpack. One of the things that really stood out to me about Liat's work, going through all this stuff, is her use of personal anecdotes.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
it's not just about, presenting these grand ideas. It's personal. She brings you into her world, shares her own journey of discovery.
Yeah, it definitely makes it more relatable, you know? It's like she's saying, hey, I'm figuring this out too. Come along for the ride.
Exactly. Like in A Joke's Worth a Thousand Words, when she mentions her father being this huge Beatles fan,
Right, right.
it's like a seemingly small detail, but it adds this whole other layer to her exploration of Monty Python and even like the making of life of Brian.
It's those little things, right? They make it feel more human, more grounded.
Yeah, totally. It's not just dry historical analysis. It's like these cultural touchstones, these shared experiences. They shape how we see the world. And she's not afraid to be transparent about her process either.
Oh, yeah. How so?
Like she talks about using AI tools to help create her content, the challenges of building an audience, the whole like behind the scenes of being a creator these days.
You know, that's something I really appreciate about her work. It's that honesty. It's like demystifying the creative process, making it feel more accessible.
Yeah, exactly. It's like she's saying, look, this is how I do it. You can do it too. And she encourages her audience to participate, to become part of the conversation.
Yeah, like she's really big on building a community.
Yep. Huge. She's always encouraging people to subscribe to her Substack, follow her podcast, even become paid subscribers to help her keep creating.
But it never feels pushy, you know? It's not like a hard sell.
No, not at all. It's more like an invitation. Like, come join this community of people who are passionate about learning, about exploring new ideas.
It's like she's built this like intellectual playground.
She's inviting us all to come play.
That's a great way to put it. And she also makes it clear that even if you can't afford to pay, there are other ways to support her work, like sharing it, leaving comments, just recommending the Liat show to friends.
It's about creating this, like, culture of mutual support. Like, everyone has something to offer.
You know, it brings us back to that idea of knowledge as currency, something she explores in Why Every Decision Matters. It's not just about hoarding information, it's about sharing it, building on it.
And creating something new. Yeah.
Right. And it makes you think about the different ways we value knowledge in today's world. We're bombarded with information constantly, but how do we filter through all the noise? How do we find what's truly valuable?
That is the million-dollar question.
Yeah.
And it seems like Leeds suggesting that maybe the answer lies in finding those sources that spark our curiosity, those that challenge our assumptions.
And make us want to keep learning, yeah.
Exactly. It's not just about passively absorbing information. It's about actively engaging with it, questioning it.
And ultimately shaping our own understanding of the world.
Exactly. Like she's saying, don't just take my word for it. Go out and explore. Make your own connections. Draw your own conclusions.
It's about becoming active learners, lifelong learners, really.
Yeah. And one thing that really resonated with me was her emphasis on the power of imagination, especially in this world where we're constantly glued to screens.
Oh, yeah. It's like we're drowning in visual stimuli.
And it can be so easy to lose touch with our own ability to create those mental images,
Right.
to
It's
imagine
like we become passive consumers of other people's visions.
instead of actively constructing our own.
Right. And Leet, she reminds us that we all have this incredible capacity for imagination.
It's like this ability to create whole worlds in our minds. And she argues that tapping into that power can deepen our understanding of ourselves and the world around us.
It's funny. It makes me think about the difference between watching a movie and listening to a podcast or reading a book. With a movie, everything is laid out for you visually. But with audio or text,
You have to fill in the gaps, right?
you have to use your imagination to create those images in your mind. You become a co-creator of the story.
It's so much more immersive that way, more personal.
And she also talks about how this active engagement with stories can help us develop empathy, critical thinking skill.
And like by stepping into someone else's shoes, imagining their world, their experiences, we can cultivate a deeper understanding of different perspectives.
It's so true. You know, it reminds me of that quote by Albert Einstein.
Oh, yeah.
Imagination is more important than knowledge, for knowledge is limited, whereas imagination embraces the entire world, stimulating progress, giving birth to evolution.
Wow, that's powerful.
It really speaks to the idea that imagination isn't just some, frivolous pastime.
It's crucial.
It's a fundamental human capacity that drives innovation, creativity, progress, and it's something we can nurture, cultivate. It's not just for kids.
Absolutely. It's for anyone who wants to see the world with fresh eyes. Imagine new possibilities.
Okay, so we've got this narrative architect who's challenging us to rethink history, explore the future, embrace the power of imagination. It's a lot to process.
It is, but it's also incredibly inspiring, wouldn't you say?
Totally. And it feels so personal, so genuine. It's like she's inviting us on this journey of intellectual and personal discovery.
And the journey's just beginning. There's so much more to explore in Liat's work, so many connections to make, insights to uncover.
All right, well, I'm ready to dive back in. Lead the way.
All right, so we're back, ready to kind of wrap up our deep dive into the Liat Show. My journey to infinity.
Yeah, it's been quite a journey.
It really has. I mean, we've covered so much ground: history, the future, the power of imagination. And it's amazing how, Liat, she brings it all together.
Yeah, she really does. One of the things that's really stuck with me is how she's not just like sharing information. She's really passionate about building this community, this space where people can come together to learn, explore, challenge each other's perspective.
It's evident in everything she does. The way she interacts with her audience, both on Substack and on her podcast. She's always encouraging feedback, discussion.
It feels like a genuine conversation,
It does.
Not just a one-way broadcast of knowledge.
Yeah, and that's what makes the Liat Show so unique. It's about active participation.
Right. It's not just about passively consuming content.
Exactly. It's about recognizing that knowledge is something we build together through shared experiences, different perspectives.
It's like she's created this intellectual ecosystem where ideas can cross-pollinate.
I love that. Cross-pollinate.
And new insights emerge. Right. And it's not just limited to one specific field or discipline. She blends history, science, music, personal experiences. It all comes together in this cohesive narrative.
It's really remarkable.
It is. It speaks to her approach, her whole narrative architect thing.
Yeah, she's not just presenting facts. She's connecting those dots, building bridges between different realms of knowledge.
It's funny, thinking back to that piece, Why Every Decision Matters, about the futuristic school.
Yeah.
It strikes me that she's not just warning us about this dystopian future.
Right.
She's kind of offering a blueprint for how we can reclaim the value of knowledge.
It is a call to action in a way.
It is.
Yeah.
She's reminding us that knowledge is power. Access to information is crucial for progress.
For sure.
It's like a reminder to become more engaged,
Yeah.
more critical in our thinking.
Absolutely. To support independent creators.
Yeah. To fight for a future where knowledge is truly accessible to everyone.
And to do that, we need to cultivate those critical thinking skills, that sense of curiosity, the ability to analyze information, question it.
It's about becoming lifelong learners, right?
Exactly. Constantly seeking out new knowledge, connecting the dots. And that's something we can all do, no matter who we are or what we do.
Exactly. And that's what's so great about the Liat Show. It's not just for academics or, experts. It's for anyone who's curious about the world.
Who wants to learn, grow.
Who wants to see things from a different perspective.
Exactly.
All right. So as we wrap up this deep dive, I think the big question is, what do we do with all of this? With the knowledge, the insights we've gained?
Right. Will we let it just kind of fade away?
Or will we use it to fuel our own journeys of exploration and discovery?
It's a choice we all have to make.
Will we become more engaged, more critical in our thinking?
More active in shaping the future we want to see.
I think Liat would definitely encourage us to choose the latter, to embrace that power of imagination, to never stop learning, to use our knowledge to make a difference in the world.
Positive impact, yeah.
And, that message really resonates with us here at the Deep Dive. We believe that knowledge is a gift.
Powerful.
A tool for empowerment. A catalyst for positive change.
And by exploring the work of creators like Liat, we hope to inspire our listeners to embark on their own journeys.
To make their own unique contributions to the world.
That's what it's all about.
So if you're feeling inspired, if you want to check out the Liat Show, My Journey to Infinity.
It's definitely worth exploring.
You can find it on Substack, also on platforms like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Patreon.
So many ways to connect.
Subscribe, follow, support her work. And who knows, maybe your journey to infinity will lead you to something truly extraordinary.
That's the beauty of it. You never know where it might take you.